Welcome to All Things SPVs, a Sally educational series dedicated to simplifying the world of special purpose vehicles. This episode is titled Filing a Form D and is part 3 of the security filing sessions. If you haven't reviewed part 1 and 2 titled Form ID and Codes, it is recommended that you do so before viewing this session. In this session of Form D, we will be covering the step-by-step how-tos to file your Form D with the SEC. As always, this is not legal advice. Talking to qualified attorneys is always wise. Additionally, this video is all about SPVs and not meant to be relevant to other use cases. Security filings is a multi-step process aimed at filing a Form D with the federal government and blue sky filings with various U.S. states. Now that we have our CIK code and our CCC code, we are now ready to file our Form D. This video begins moments after you have obtained your CCC code. Let's get started.
You begin your Form D filing by going to the specific EDGAR Form D website. The website is very specific, and you will find that link through the blog on sally.co. So coming to this site, you'll see the login with Login.gov. So this is the same login that you have used for the part 1, getting your CIK code. So you're going to want to get that same login. So you click the login button, you enter the details that you entered before. Sometimes there'll be that authentication, 2-factor authentication, input that. And it logs you into this page, which is the entry page to the Form D filings. Enter your CIK code, hit search. It should come up with the name of your SPV. So it should say CIK, there's going to be the CIK code, there's going to be the name of your SPV listed there. If that looks correct, then you're going to select Login CIK. And you should go to a page that looks like this. And what I mean by looks like this, the red, the green, the teal, the American flag, this is a correct site. I have gotten lost in the EDGAR system many times, and I've gone to sites that do not look like this. So make sure that once you've logged in, that the page that you're on looks just like the page shown here on the screen. Now that you're logged in, you should see your SPV listed here at the top with the CIK code. And then we're going to select File Form D here on the left. Select File Form D and select New Form D Submission. When you click this, a whole new window is going to launch. Click Next. Now you're in your SPV's Form D. We're going to walk through each one of the items on the left and each one of the fields presented to you. Right here, where they're collecting the details again about your SPV's security filing forms or codes. So you're going to add your CIK code, and you're going to add your CCC code. And just like the Form ID form, it's going to ask you about persons, humans, phone numbers, emails, and giving you an option to add additional names or additional emails. So for here, we are putting in a contact person. So that's probably you or somebody on your team. Put in that phone number and then the email. Here, you're allowed to add additional emails that will get the information. So if you have other team members or some general inbox that you want to use, you can add that there. You would just put it in here, hit add. I'm, again, keeping it simple, so I'm not adding any additional emails or humans to this application. Going to click Next. Because we put in the CIK code and CCC, it pulls up some information from our CIK application, that Form ID application. It's got the name, it's got the jurisdiction, and now it's going to start asking questions. Ask what the entity type is. It's got a list of them. This is an SPV, so it's going to be either a limited partnership or limited liability company. years of incorporation. So basically, how long has it been around? This is an SPV. So you typically are going to be selecting within the last 5 years, and then it's going to ask which year. So whatever year that is, it's probably just a few months ago. So then click next. Now we're in section 2, principal place of business. This is pre-populated from that form ID that we submitted earlier. I'm just going to leave it. Looks good to me. Now it's going to ask about a related person. This is like a control person. Similarly to the form ID, it's asking about the person who's in charge. This is most likely you or somebody close to you on the team. So add that person, put in that address. It can be the same address that you've used in the past or that was on the prior screen. And it's going to ask about a relationship. Is this an executive officer, a director, promoter? This person should be an executive officer or director. I'm assuming it's an executive officer. So select executive officer or director. Again, I'm assuming this is you or some one of the senior team members on your team. And you can add some additional wording here if needed. You can also add people. So this is a related person. You can add other team members. So let's say there's multiple team members. You can add more people, which is great if you need it. For me, keep it simple. So I've just added the one and going to move forward. Here in section 4, industry group, because it's an SPV, we're going to go banking and financial services. And then we're going to select from the drop-down, pooled investment fund. Because we selected that, it threw up a couple more questions. One is, are you registered per the Investment Company Act? Typically running SPVs, that's a no. Maybe it's a yes, but most of the time it's a no. And then it's going to ask, please specify the investment fund type: hedge fund, private equity fund, venture capital fund, other investment fund. SPVs for me, I always say is others. Other people that I speak with, they sometimes select venture capital fund. Either one of them is fine. So select other investment fund or venture capital fund and then hit next. Now we're on to number 5. It's asking about how much you're going to raise or the value. It has an option for decline to disclose. Like I've said throughout these videos, if it gives me the option, I'm going to take it. So I always select decline to disclose. Page 6. This is asking the exemption that you used. SPVs, you're most likely under the 506B and or C. There's no and or. 506B or C. It's usually a B. The SPVs I typically see and run are 506B. You can go check out the difference on another video or another website. But it says claim or select all that apply. So Investment Company Act Section 3C is also relevant for running SPVs. From here, you're really looking at Section 3C1 and 3C7. 3C1 is where you raised money from investors that met the basic or the general accreditation standard. 3C7 is when you raised money from investors who met the qualified purchaser standard. Most SPVs are 3C1. Yours might be a 3C7, but I'm going to select 3C1, hit next. Number 7, new notice. It already knows that. It's asking about the first date. Just know that you're supposed to file this Form D and Blue Skies within 15 days of the close. First date of sale for me, this is not legal advice, but for me, it is the day that I close on the SPV because I don't countersign the subscription agreements until that time. And so my date of first sale is not when I've told people about it. It's not when the money first arrived, the first investor arrived in the bank account. It is when I've accepted those subscriptions. And so I pick the date that I close the SPV. Let's say it happened a few days ago, and then click next. 8, the duration. Is this going to last more than a year? This is an SPV. Most SPVs don't last more than a year. For you, maybe it's a yes, but for the most part, it's a no. Particularly since we also had that first close. So we've had the first close. Maybe we're going to have 2 or 3 more. But if our date is a couple days ago and now we have 12 months more, are you going to keep raising 12 months from today? Usually that's a no. Number 9, it already has selected pooled investment fund interest. I'm going to just keep that. That's the right selection. Number 10 is asking, is this a merger? Was this an acquisition? Something of that? Was this a combination transaction? This is an SPV that typically purchased shares of a startup or a real estate or something like that. So that's a no. Click next. Minimum investment. If you set one, if you communicated that, then put that number in here. Many times it's as low as $1,000. So I put in $1,000, but if you set a certain number, 25,000 or something like that, put that number in here and click next. Sales compensation. I've never used this page, this screen, because typically SPVs don't have people out there running around looking for investors and such. So I always just skip this page. If you do feel you need this, perhaps get legal counsel to assist you in filling out this page. This page is about how much did you raise. So it's offered, sold, and then remaining. SPVs, I always sell everything that is being offered. So if I raised 350, then that is how much I sold, and should be zeroed out. So I always put the same number that I sold as the same amount as I offered, and it's always 0. Hit next. This is a page or question about investors. It's going to ask how many investors did you raise money from? But the top box there is grayed out because you'd have to click this box here on the left for it to ungray. This box is asking how many of your investors were non-accredited investors. Again, not legal advice, but I have a very, very strong opinion that you never allow non-accredited investors to invest into your SPVs. I never do, so I've never checked that box. So that's what that box is, that top portion. I always go to this box and put in the number of investors that came into the SPV that were part of the close. Hit next. Number 15, sales commission finder fees. Again, I don't ever do this. Most people don't. And so I skip this page. If you did have sales commissions and finder's fees and get someone to assist you in filling out this page, I just skip it. Now we're getting to the end. 16, use of proceeds. If you took some money for an org fee like SPV administration or something like that, typically would put that in here. Let's say you took $10,000 to pay for admin, Sally software, some taxes or something like that. You could write something here like org costs or something like that if you needed, felt inclined to, but putting in whatever chunk of cash that you've pulled off the top to pay for admin or management fee or something like that. Now we're at the end and we type in our signature, type in the name, title. I always put in that same title that I selected earlier in the application, select today's date, and I hit submit. On this page, they're giving you an opportunity to edit, view and print, and then submit. You should click this view transmit button. It will pull up a PDF. You can look at it. You should download it. You should keep a copy. If you need to change anything, you would hit the edit Form D button. Once you're comfortable reviewed it and ready to go, then you would click this transmit button. This is a "Are you sure you want to do this?" page. It says, "Warning, you've chosen to make a live submission." You can cancel the transmission. You can, again, view, print the transmission, or you can submit. So again, click the submit button when you're ready. Transmission submission acknowledgement. Your submission was successfully transmitted. And yes, it gives you another accession number. You should capture this number and keep it. System's big on giving you numbers. You're done, successful. You can click exit.
There's a blog post that mirrors this educational video that includes direct links to key websites, so you can follow along and get your SPVs Form D and Blue Skies filed. This concludes our All Things SPV session on filing a Form D, Part 3 of the security filing sessions. For more All Things SPVs, go to sally.co.